And good evening, everybody. This is Ryan Hayes. I'm back with another episode of Crank Matt Podcast. This is Happy Times in Wrestling. I got the Super 32 coming up this weekend at Greensboro, North Carolina. Tournament started in North Carolina, staged in North Carolina, other than a time it went to Myrtle Beach. But it's a good tournament, the best preseason tournament in the country. So on my show, I have one of the wrestlers from North Carolina that's going to be competing in the tournament, Tomas Brooker. He's a wrestler at Hickory High School here in North Carolina. This guy's kind of done a lot in the after finish a state runner-up in the state tournament this past year. He's kind of done a lot to develop his skill set. So, I think we're going to bring him in and talk to him, see how he's doing, and see how his preparation is going for the Super 32. So, yes, right now we have Tomas Brooker. Hey, man, thanks for being on the show. How's everything going?
It's going well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure, man. So talk to me a little bit, man. Number one, the first question that I always start with is like, you're a wrestler. How did you get involved in this sport?
So I started wrestling my freshman year. One of my dad's friends, he called my dad up and said wrestling might be a good fit for me. And I was kind of hesitant at first, but then I decided to join. The first few practices were tough for me since I was new and I didn't know what I was doing. But I eventually came to love the sport and want to do really well in it.
For sure. Now, do you play any other sports? I mean, you kind of, tall, athletic, no other sports, no football, nothing like that?
No other sports.
What brought about that decision? I mean, it's obviously football being a popular sport. And, I mean, you got an athletic frame for yourself. You're just not really a sports, like if it wasn't by chance of your dad or your dad's friend talking to him about it, I guess it's safe to say you probably wouldn't have wrestled, but are you just not a sports-oriented guy?
Well, I stopped playing sports probably before middle school. It was just because of health conditions at the time. And at the time, I just lifted weights. So my dad called and said wrestling might be a good fit. I just tried it out.
Right. Before we dive deep into wrestling, something I am interested in is that you are an Eagle Scout.
Yes.
So that's like almost a whole like childhood into teenager commitment to achieve that. What did you do for your Eagle Scout project, and how did you go about doing it?
For my Eagle Scout project, I built a 10x6 deck with a 27-foot ramp at the Mile Creek Community House. So that was a pretty big project. It took about 4 weekends to complete, and I had to raise quite a bit of money to get that done. Scouting has been something I've been in since I was 6 years old, so that was a really big achievement for me to earn Eagle.
And how did you think that actually that deck was able to really overall impact that center? Like, what was it like? I guess without the deck, were things hard for him to do, or hard to facilitate stuff? So just kind of tell me a little bit about like how that deck, since you kind of helped or built it, how's it impacted that center?
So the community house, they do an annual barbecue and fish fry every year. So the deck is also used as a loading dock, and the community house, lots of elderly people use that community house every weekend. So the ramp really helps with people getting in and out of the building. And then each weekend at Scouts, I see young Scouts playing with it and using it for instruction. So
For sure. So you started wrestling in ninth grade, and so talk me through it, ninth grade up until the junior year state runner-up. Talk me through the highs and lows and what it took for you to advance every year and get better to try to be the best you can be.
So my freshman year, I just wrestled school practices. I was on varsity for 2 weekends before the football players came back after the season. And once the football players came back, I was booted back to JV. and I really thought being on JV sucked, so I didn't want to do that anymore. So I wanted to get better. During the summer, I lifted and I joined Dark Horse, which is where I train year round now. And throughout the years, I just got better and better, better and better.
Um, yeah, so for sure. So you joined Dark Horse, heck of a club. I don't think that people like Adam Cox and Jim Avola get enough credit. Jim Avola is probably one of the best club coaches in North Carolina that don't get a lot of credit. And I know he's not a credit guy, and I know he's kind of the head coach of the whole thing. And I know you work with individual coaches, so mainly talk to me about the impact of Jake and Luke Blunt. I know they've worked with you a lot.
Yeah, so they're basically like my one-on-one coaches. If I have any questions, I ask them. If I need an extra rollout, extra workout, I go work out with them. They really help me progress through with my technique, and then help me with my mindset going into matches. They really help me keep focused on my wrestling.
Yeah, there's some big boys, man, and it's good to have those guys in the room to kind of kind of offset and kind of give you different partners. I know at this point, you're probably the best guy at your weight at Dark Horse. It's not really probably a lot of lightweights right now that can kind of give you the partners that you need. So you finished state runner up, like I mentioned earlier, and you go into the 2022 spring off season. So tell me a little bit about that, working your way kind of into now, less than 2 days before Super 32.
So immediately after states, I was advised by Coach Adam to take a week off of wrestling because it's been a long season. And then immediately after that, I started training for nationals, getting ready for that. I fell short of my goals at nationals, and I had a duel 2 weeks after that. And that was basically the last time I competed for the summer. And during the summer, I went to a lot of camps and RTCs. I went to Virginia Tech, RTC, Campbell, Citadel, App, and really try to wrestle a lot higher level guys than myself to improve.
Yes. So something that I talk about a lot is the motivation and the willingness to get out of your comfort zone and go practice at different places, such as your RTCs and other clubs. And I know that you've kind of hit combat a little bit, working out with Carson Floyd. I know he's. Tell me a little bit about working out with him. He was nationally ranked, and I think it's Appalachian. Is that where he's at?
Yes.
Is that where he's going?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about working out with him, and like how was the benefit of working out at different clubs? And I know you were up at M2 a couple times. Just tell me a little bit about the different level of wrestling that you've seen that kind of helped you get better.
So working out with Carson, starting off with that's been a big help. He's helped me a lot with my hand fighting, a lot with how I take my shots, and just how I think during the match, and really a lot with my technical side of wrestling. And then traveling the country, like to PA, and seeing the different level of wrestling up there, it helped me out with how I need to develop my wrestling to be successful.
And now, maybe a month ago, you committed to wrestle for Appalachian State. How did you get to that decision? And what was it about Appalachian State that you chose that over all the other colleges that you visited?
So I chose App State because since I've been in scouting for so long, I've really grown close to the mountains. I like hiking, mountain biking, traveling, being in nature. And then the academics of App State, they have a great exercise science program. They just built a new building. I'm really excited to go there. And then the team culture there, I think, is really great. And I think I can find a good way to succeed there and be pushed.
Now, and I'll tell you this, get to sit. It's a get to sit. Well, any of those colleges would have been good, but specifically Appalachian, is that I've known John Mark Bentley ever since I was in high school. He was wrestling at Carolina at the time. Coach Bentley has a proven track record of developing wrestlers and specifically North Carolina wrestlers. And if once you get there and buy into the program, there's no doubt about it, you're going to get better. I mean, you got Austin Troutman, kid plays third in the country, and at NCAA Division I, he started wrestling in ninth grade. He's had Denzel DeJournette, started wrestling in ninth grade, ended up being an All-American heavyweight. We all know about John Milner. I think he was like a 2 or 3 timer here in North Carolina. But, these were guys that were like not even like highly recruited coming out of high school that have went on to wrestle at the highest level of Division I. And I'm talking about they were beating people wrestling when they were like 5 years. They were 5 years old, and they only started in ninth grade. Also coming up in a game, you got Caleb Smith up there who's gonna make some noise. Probably Ethan Oakley, Heath Gagne, all those guys. So yeah, not a bad spot. And again, like John Mark is gonna do good by you. And I know you're gonna buy in and be dedicated to the program. Real quick, I got to pay some bills real quick. So I want to tell you about this product. It's called Neutral Zone Clean. You get one of those practices, man, and you got to leave club practice and you got to go somewhere else, but you don't have time to shower. You need to kind of wipe yourself down to hold you off, kind of keep the skin funguses and all that crap at bay until you can go actually get a good shower. Neutral Zone Clean Wipes. It's North Carolina have started up business. It's good for your skin. Smells better than all the other brands out there. Doesn't leave the film on your skin. Doesn't dry your skin out. It will be good for you. So next time you're in a bind and you can't get to a shower, make sure you're in the zone with Neutral Zone. All right. Anyways, what you talked about being an outdoors type person. What specifically out of the outdoor stuff that you said you did, like what do you like the most? Like what do you do, I guess, in your spare time away from wrestling? Which one of those activities do you do a lot of?
I really like going backpacking or mountain biking. Those would be some of my 2 favorite activities. Harrisburg Park recently just put in a new pump track. I like getting out there. And backpacking, I've been on some great backpacking trips. I went to one in New Mexico. It was a 74-mile backpacking trip. That was 12 days. And that was a great experience.
So before we get to the Super 32, back in my younger days, when I was about 19 years old, I say I got suckered because I believe it or not, I know I don't look like it, but I used to lifeguard. I was a certified lifeguard, and I know it's funny. I tell people that and they don't believe me, but like I swear to it, I challenge anybody to a swim contest, and then they really get surprised. My boy Jax Forrest challenged me to one because I told him a lifeguard, and he didn't believe me, and I had to smoke him real quick. But so I'm lifeguarding for the YMCA in the Northwest North Carolina area, up to kind of in Winston-Salem, and that's what I did all through school. As far as my school job, well, probably my going into my senior year, they were needing lifeguards up at this summer camp called YMCA Campaigns, and I was like, and it paid you a little bit more. So I was like, well, I'll do it. And then they had this specific group of kids that come. They're called LITs, Leaders in Training, and they go for 2 weeks out on the Appalachian Trail. They'll start kind of near the mouth of Wilson, Virginia, and one of the counselors that was supposed to go got real sick, and they kind of suckered me into going. So I actually had to hike the Appalachian Trail. We were out there for about a week. Yeah, I do outdoor stuff. I mean, I can do the whole like rock climbing, belay somebody, tie the whole rock climbing knots and things like that. But it was a different environment out there. Got hit with some storms, got rained on. I mean, it was,
Oh, yeah.
but I appreciate the overall fun of it. I've done the stuff like your mountain hikes, like Sourtown Mountain up there and the Walnut Cove area.
Mhm.
All sorts of things like that. So, I'm pretty. That's probably something good to be to appreciate.
One of my favorite places to go backpacking is in Virginia. It's called Grayson Highlands. It's
Right.
a beautiful place. You can even see wild ponies there. They'll just walk out and about. It's a great place to go.
Yeah. You know. It's good when you can kind of find something to get your mind off wrestling, and it kind of helps. It kind of helps give your whole body and your mind kind of like a factory reset, right? Like
Mhm.
and a lot of people like it. When I have to when I have to gather my thoughts, it's either I'm driving somewhere and I don't have any music or radio on in the car, and I can just kind of be one with my thoughts, or I I do a lot of thinking on the crapper. So it is what it is. I think we all do. So Super 32, man, you're entering a Super 32. By the way, I think that you're deserving of at least an honorable mention. But anyways, you're in the Super 32. I think you're going 195, right?
Yes.
195.
95.
So that's a weight class that's a little bit heavier than you. You're lighter than that weight class from what I gathered.
Mhm.
What was the choice of going that high up versus 182?
I just didn't want to cut weight really, and I feel since I'm still kind of young in the sport, I think it's better to improve my wrestling instead of focusing on cutting weight.
For sure, for sure. Now, have you have you had a chance? But have you had a chance to kind of look at who all registered? Do you know any of these people? Um, how how do you think you're going to do in this tournament?
My dad has told me some of the names that are showing up, and I think I'm gonna do pretty well. My goal is to win it. My goal is to always win, and I'm just gonna be thankful for the opportunity to compete there and be ready to wrestle whoever is in front of me.
How was your experience wrestling in Elite Eight? Helped you prepare for this tournament?
Elite Eight showed me the different level of wrestling that I haven't seen. It showed me what the top guys are wrestling like, and that I'm on par with them, and that I can compete at that level.
Yeah, for sure. It's always great to have a contingent group of North Carolina kids compete at that high level. Um, I think we should have more, and I think a lot of North Carolina kids, it's they're scared to take that step up in competition, and some people just, people fear the unknown. People fear what they don't understand, and I think they have a hard time with testing uh, themselves. So when you were asked to be on the combat athletics team for Elite Eight, how did that come to be, and what was your mindset at the time when it was presented to you?
I was thankful for the opportunity. I knew that was a elite event, and being able to go there I knew that would help me further myself in my wrestling career to reach my goals. And I was excited to start wrestling.
For sure. Now, back on the Super 32, you didn't do this last year, right? I don't recall. Did you do it last year?
Yes.
Okay. How did you do last year?
Last year I went 0-2.
0-2.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just being able to get experience wrestling in that environment to make it to where I know you're going to do a lot better this year. I know that for sure. You're you got a lot of ranked kids. What are you kind of, as far as just determining itself, like, what are you looking forward to? I mean, I know you want to win, but what are you like looking forward to that you're kind of ready to get at Saturday? I mean, is it like just being able to wrestle good kids, or just the environment, the wrestling environment? What are you looking forward to in the tournament?
I'm looking forward to scoring a lot of points. I like scoring a lot of points. I like seeing 30, 15 matches. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Do you have 30, 15 cardio?
Yes.
That's tough, man. Uh, that's the one thing that I always tell wrestlers is that you can't help that somebody's better than you, but something you can't help is your cardio. The cardio is 100% on you, because you can do a lot of things cardio that get yourself better. You know, first of all, to get the best cardio for wrestling is to wrestle.
Yes.
But then you have like the running aspect of things and all that other stuff. But you know, I've too often seen kids lose matches because they run out of cardio, and it seems like if you have that kind of goal set for yourself to be able to go out there and score points, I know that the cardio is probably not going to be an issue for you. Now, going into the after Super 32 really is the Super 32 is kind of the culmination of the 2022-2023 wrestling season. In high school, what are you looking forward to going into your senior year, last year of high school?
I'm looking forward to be one of the most dominant wrestlers in North Carolina this high school season. My plan is I'm hoping to not give up a takedown, and I'm going to be undefeated state champ.
Now, are you going to continue this 95 effort going into the high school season, or are you going to try to maybe diet your way down to 182?
I'm going to continue 195.
Right. Now, what do you walk around at? Like, if you were to step on the scale right now, what would you do?
I'm probably around 194, 192. That's probably what I walk around at.
Maybe it's – well, I saw you at Elite 8, but I don't know. You really you don't look over 182, I guess. But, it's not like I'm sizing you up or something like that. I just know that, maybe obviously you get bigger. In college, where does I guess Coach Bentley got you like projected 197?
184, 197 right now.
184,
is where it's projected.
For sure, man. You got any practices tonight? You going to be doing anything tonight as far as wrestling?
Not tonight. Today's a rest day. I got Thursday and Friday.
Thursday. So how many days a week do you wrestle?
5 days a week.
5 days a week. So how do you know, like, how do you like identify when you know you probably need a break, like more days than normal, right? Like, and are you able to, kind of have that discipline to kind of step away from the mats a little bit to let your body rehab?
So usually my coach has to tell me when I need to take a break, and whenever it gets to that point, it's usually pretty easy to have the discipline to not overexert myself. Yeah,
so I've known that to be a lot of problems in wrestlers. One in particular that everybody knows that I work with. As good of a wrestler as he is probably the most stubborn he can be about just. And he's learned, but it's kind of having it. He'll complain about, hey man, my shoulders hurt, my knees hurt. It's like, if that's your body saying you need to sit down for a little bit. Oh, but I want to wrestle. I was like, well, you can't continue to run your car without gas, and if you do, your body's going to shut down on you. So it's great that you have people that can kind of identify that for you and tell you, hey man, sit it down for a little bit. You've got more wrestling left to do. Well, hey, listen, I know that you got things you got to do. But before I let you go, if people want to follow your career moving forward, how can they follow you on your social media?
So I have an Instagram, Notorious Strength. I also have a Twitter that is @Tomas Brooker. I'm not as active on my Twitter as I am my Instagram. So those are some ways to follow me in my career.
And then, do you have any like parting words of encouragement for people that may have the same or similar growth in the sport uh, that you have? Like, do you have any kind of like positive words of encouragement? Based on what you've been through and the experiences that you have.
Yeah, I would just say don't give up, and just really you have to stay committed to it. It's going to be a tough process. You're gonna fail a lot, and I have a quote. It says, "You only succeed when you fail over and over again in your life," and I think that's something that helps me stay on track.
For sure. Well, Tomas, man, it's been real talking to you. Thanks for taking the time out to talk to me, and good luck, not only in the Super 32, but your senior season and your wrestling career as a whole moving forward. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Take care now.
You too.
All right, guys, that was Tomas Brooker. Good kid. The thing is about him is I didn't really know who I did a lot of wrestling, really didn't know who he was. And he started coming on the scene, really, really worked hard. True definition of a hard worker right there. So he's got nothing but good things to come. But it's been real. I appreciate everyone tuning into this episode, and I got to go because I got things to do. But join me next time. Until then, stay safe. Don't do anything stupid, and be smart about life.